So today I'm going to be telling you about the idea behind medieval marriages between royal families, I mean. Now, the key example I want to use, I'm not talking medieval, but it's mainly medieval, but the example I want to use is Queen Victoria. Even though she is from the 19th century, she exemplifies the idea perfectly. So Queen Victoria, she wanted peace for Europe, and so she thought that the best way to do so is to marry off her children to different countries, and so when they became monarchs, they would work with each other rather than fight. And well, there was kind of a lot of incest, I guess, between that, leading to hemophilia and other crises. But that's the main idea you have to get. So in medieval Europe, royal families, they married all their children to one another, not because they sought peace, but they sought power. Say you are, okay, let's put the example of Philip of Spain. He was a Spanish king, most powerful country in Europe at the time, if not the world. But he wanted more. He wanted more. He wasn't satisfied with Spain. He wanted England. So he went up and married Mary from England, and boom, now he has Spain and Ken has England. And that's, well, kind of how marriages work. There's tons, I can't possibly name all of them, but another example, I know I talk about a lot about Henry V because I find him fascinating, especially his French campaign, but Henry V, he married Catherine of Valois in 1420. And this was kind of, it benefited both him and the Valois family, because the Valois family was the one reigning in France. And despite the fact that the Valois family remained in power, by 1420 they didn't know that because they thought Henry V would die after the French king, Charles VI. But he died before. Anyway, the Valois, let's first start with the Valois point of view. The Valois thought, okay, we're going to give this guy the throne after the current king dies. So if we have a Valois as a queen, that means that the heirs are going to have Valois blood. And so the Valois are going to remain in power. As hoping it's a male heir, right? For Henry, it was a good thing because it meant that he had a further tie to France, and no one could contest his claim because he was married to someone descending from the French royal family. Anyway, that's another example. So it's all, like I've said 100 times, it's all in terms of power. If you are a monarch and you want to ensure an alliance with another monarch, you marry off your children to them, or you marry yourself off to them, and boom, it's better if you're the man, because that means that the woman is not going to, medieval times obviously, if you're a king and you marry a queen of another country, you're pretty much guaranteed to get power over that country. If you're a queen and you marry off to a king of another country, you're going to be overshadowed because gender laws gender equality was not a thing back then. So yeah, so if you wanted an alliance, you need to marry off people. If you wanted safety during wartime, say England and France are at war again, and you're afraid you're Spain, and you're a French ally. So you know that if there is a war between England and France, there's essentially going to be dragged into it. But you can't take England. So what you do is you marry either into England or an English ally, for example. That's kind of how it works. It's all politics, but especially women, they were just pawns. They were just used to marry each other off to other people. Problem solved. We don't have to worry about them anymore because they're going to serve for the male, so like the king, because at that time queens were really unusual. They're going to serve for the king because that means they're going to have a good relation with that country and so on and so on. I've explained myself terribly, but as I think, it's all politics. It's keeping peace or keeping safety, and especially for the man, money. The reason I usually use examples of English history is because I've done the British education, so I know a lot about it. Let's take the example of Catherine of Aragon. So she was to be married, and she did marry Arthur, Prince of Wales, son of Henry VII. At that time, if a woman was to be married to a man, she needed to pay a dowry. Her family needs to pay a dowry. That's a payment. Depends on the woman, depends on the beauty and the status and whatever. The man would get more or less money, but you would get a substantial amount. Now, when Arthur died, Catherine should have returned to Spain, but Henry VII, he was smart. He thought, let's keep her in England, and so let's marry her off to my new heir, Henry, and so I can keep the dowry. I don't have to give it back. So the large sum of money, if it was especially a woman marrying into a royal family, that was huge. It's rarer to see a man marrying into a royal family. Still happened, but it was more usual at the time to see a woman marry into a royal family. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't think I've missed anything. If I have, please let me know. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it interesting. Yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.